What's up, guys? It's currently October 4th, 2015. I'm probably like a freaking grown man when you see this. If I don't have a million subscribers when you see this video, my entire life has been a failure. Dude, I really hope I have a million subs by now. Please, future me, please.
What is a predator, and where is the line between a tasteless joke and a crime? The past couple of weeks have been more than stressful for the crew of the biggest content creator in the world, MrBeast. What started as accusations of one crew member has culminated in the questioning of everything the MrBeast channel has ever done, from putting on fake lotteries to the cover-up of a predator, from a friend to a point of disgust. This is the case of beastly actions. Going back through the history of MrBeast tweets, or now X's, you will seldom find an apology. Most of it consists of record-breaking posts and links to massively budgeted videos, with the occasional defense against someone who had the issue with curing kids of blindness. Any creator of his size would face criticism, no matter the genre. What's just as expected is the fall of a channel, no matter the follower count or seniority. Nothing, and no one, is too big to fail. MrBeast is no exception. The appearance of an apology on the page of MrBeast and his crew is the first signal to a brand now doomed to fail. As of making this video, the two main apologies from MrBeast and Ava Kris Tyson have served as a bookmark for this controversy. For Jimmy, also known as MrBeast, there has been no content following the announcement of a third-party investigation. For Ava Kris, there has been a complete wipe of social media, leaving the hollow apology of the now outed predator. Though, to comprehend the historical events of the present, we must first go back in time. Though many of Ava Kris's actions were in the open the vast majority of the time, it wasn't always so obvious to the general public. When the accusations first were compiled and put out to the public, they were certainly wrong in every way you could think of. There were many jokes Ava Kris described as edgy, which we now know is code for racist, ill-timed, and all-around offensive. This was everything from jokes about the Jewish community to making an early YouTube video on leaked photos of Jeanette McCurdy.
She sent pictures to her boyfriend, her now ex-boyfriend. She is a very popular Nickelodeon star on the show iCarly and Sam and Cat. You'll probably see the photos get taken down at some point tonight, maybe tomorrow. But the link's in the description if you want to see them. I mean, I'm not endorsing people to go look at somebody else's private business, but I know that, people might want to see them. You're gonna have to think about where the right and wrong is, really.
Even going as far as putting those public links in the video so any viewer could also see the leaked photos of the young star. All were enough on their own to cancel Ava Kris, but didn't appear to escalate to the point of criminal, which is perhaps what the thought was behind the very quick apology, owning up to the so-called edgy jokes but holding steadfast that those jokes were the extent of any wrongdoing. As we now know, that wasn't true. As the internet took to the story like moths to a flame, a pattern of degeneracy emerged. Two young men described their interactions with Ava Kris while being between the ages of 13 and 16 as inappropriate, though initially, one accuser handle, LavaGS, stated he did not feel as if he was groomed. He did initially admit some of their contact was inappropriate. If it were left up to one person's word versus the other, maybe that would have been the end of it. However, as more and more evidence came out to the contrary, many pointed out even if Lava did not think he was groomed, he was still a child and may not have realized just how wrong it was at the time, something Lava would later admit was probably the case. Another accuser did a multi-part video describing conversations filled with sexual jokes, unpaid work, and adult films being sent from Ava Kris to the members of the Discord, even the minors, both directly and publicly. This accuser seemed much more clear in his remembering of the situation, as seen here.
Kris Tyson from MrBeast used me and manipulated me and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old. This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. This turned into us having lots of private conversations with Kris and playing video games with him for hours on end. Not only did we do a lot of unpaid work for him that he promised he would pay us for, he would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds. He would even go as far as linking me several different porn and hentai videos throughout the time of me talking with him. And he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images. corn images. He would also frequently call me dad and daddy, as well as the others, which I guess we all kind of just took as a joke at the time. But looking back, I was definitely uncomfortable.
Endless screenshots started pouring out from every corner of the internet. Some were from a Discord log, long since scrubbed clean, by Ava Kris herself, all of which showed Ava Kris using the guise of jokes to spell out her own desire for minors and children as a group. Any one of these alone are enough to show what a repugnant person this is, but all of them together create nothing short of a long-running crime scene, and an already skewed power exchange of adult and child, content creator and fan. There is a very intentional addition of this dad role that Ava Kris has assigned not herself, but rather to the children she kept the company of. Beyond the DMs and Snapchats and even Discord logs is possibly one of the most disturbing pieces of evidence that Ava Kris was always open in their attraction to minors. That of which being the obsession with lolly and other art styles from the artist Shadman. The very reason and purpose behind each art piece and commission all had a common theme and subject. Characters from TV, film, anime, and even real life were depicted in sexual and revealing positions. Yet both Ava Kris and MrBeast have several connections to the artist. Ava Kris has said that the images are sometimes the only thing to arouse her, has bought at least one image but liked several and even displayed one such image in her living room. MrBeast's connection is much more tenuous. In a now deleted scene of a MrBeast video where he paid a pizza delivery driver a small fortune in tips, there is a brief shot of all the crew sitting in the living room waiting for the driver. That living room being the very same where Ava Kris displayed the graphic photo for all to see. How many people walked by it and said nothing? Questioned nothing. Maybe one incident could be explained away, but in a tweet interaction, MrBeast can clearly be seen not only interacting with the artist and work, but having at least a rudimentary understanding of the style of art, yet nothing was said. This wasn't the type of situation where one accuser or one leaker exposed every bad action Ava Kris has ever done. This came in waves and over time. It took a while to get a clear picture. As such, some people were slower to react than others, especially because of how readily people were in the I told you so headspace. With many people only knowing her as someone from MrBeast's team and having no other info, they immediately accused her of being a predator, a bad person, abandoning her family, and more. I'm in no way defending the actions of Ava Kris Tyson because I now know her true nature. But I can't ignore that the reason people were so quick to believe and hop on the hate train is because she is trans. Within 24 hours, most of the larger creators had already reacted. Everyone from the controversial side of the internet, like Aiden Ross, Sneeko, and Andrew Tate, most of which have had their own accusations of being attracted to minors or their criminal convictions of sexual trafficking of women.
Why are so many creators scared to fucking tweet and talk about it, but they were so quick to put all these tweets about Dr. Disrespect?
Maybe I didn't need semblance of honor. He wouldn't be accepting all this transgender shit from his friend. He'd tell his friend to step down and be a tranny in private. Even if I personally support your transgenderism, there's going to be some young children who watch this show who's going to get confused by what you're doing. So now everyone's pretending to be surprised that this fucking tranny tried to fuck a kid. Well, of course.
Which is so funny, because in a world where this dude is losing everything for touching children, messaging children, people care more about misgendering a pedophile than the actual pedophilic acts.
Slower to react, though most still within 24 hours, were people like Pokey and Valkyrie. With so much hate, homophobia, transphobia mixed in with the truth of a predator, it took time to make a logical and honest response. But many saw these responses as too little, too late. And some even accused them of defending Ava Kris, despite that being the complete opposite of the truth. This only happened because of another creator recently exposed, Dr. Disrespect. Everyone was quick to respond in that case too, although the response was of course much different. Dr. Disrespect is the very symbol of toxic masculinity, but in his case, it was also much more clear. A real open and shut kind of case. He was accused of speaking to a minor inappropriately in Twitch whispers. An employee confirmed it, and then Dr. Disrespect himself confirmed it. That was that. So creators like Pokey were quick to respond, if brief, like in the now infamous Yuck subtweet. The same can't be said for those like Aiden Ross and Sneeko, who were all convinced this was probably a 17-year-old, which somehow made it fine to them. To be clear, it was never revealed the age of the minor, but the difference in reaction was clear to me, even based on someone like Sneeko, who recently admitted with his full chest that age doesn't matter in the decision to marry, and an adult is anyone who is mature or has gone through puberty.
How old are you?
Underage. Well, you
Oh.
just
Like,
yeah.
like
Hold on.
how underage though? Like, there's no age of consent. It says 2 adults, which is what I said in the debate. I believe 2 adults can get married. Adulthood maturity, it starts after puberty. Dumbass.
He deserves his own case on this channel, so I will leave it there. I only point this out to show his hypocrisy in the Ava Kris case. If you aren't glued to the internet, like myself and most of the people in this case, you may be wondering what Jimmy, aka MrBeast, has to do with any of this. Is he just the boss of a degenerate who maybe overlooked or wasn't aware of the true extent of things? Unfortunately, I seriously doubt it. As information has come out about Ava Kris, people have been emboldened to expose the king of YouTube himself. Clips of his own racist jokes have come out, the most disturbing of which being him describing how much money he would spend on purchasing someone.
Selling N-word for $400 money? The most I would pay is like $300. Sorry, $400 is just out of my price range for that type of stuff. QQ, shut the fuck up, you stupid faggot. If the video was lived, how would I call you a stupid faggot? Exactly. Selling 10 for $69 each? That's a steep price. I don't think you're gonna get any sales. I'm kidding.
To a joke about him getting away with the crime and not being shot because he is white.
Chris, I was thinking about robbing a store.
You can't do that. You'll get shot, Jimmy.
I'm white.
Oh, yeah.
Down to his own inappropriate discussion of a 14-year-old child rapper Bad Baby.
And he did say that he enjoys the Catch Me Outside girl and thinks she's funny, so let's just...
So that just shows what...
Let's be real. You want to put your dick in her?
She's like 14 years old, she probably has AIDS already.
I mean, as long as there's no penetration, I mean, what's age anyways, right? I'm just...
I don't think she's 14. They're too big to be 14. That's
She
just my
seems
opinion.
older than
Well,
that, but...
I don't think she's real.
As if these weren't bad enough, a scathing video from a former employee broke down how often videos were fake, lotteries rigged, and elements of videos faked using special effects or CGI. Some of these claims have been refuted by current or former employees of the channel, though none of them seem to dispute the most serious of the actions, choosing to justify the actions instead. This may spell bad news for the historical deal made by Amazon Prime and the MrBeast camp. It made sense coming from a channel made from playing games to win money, but Jimmy got his very own game show with the largest prize in the history of game shows, $5 million. Money like that obviously won't come easy, but even knowing that, the participants were in for a rough time. Descriptions of the behind the scenes paint a grisly Lord of the Flies type picture, where it was literally survival of the fittest. Women were ganged up on by men, being tackled, targeted, and beaten, resulting in bruises, stitches, and even broken bones, with the added dishonor of being made to sit without sanitary products for days on end. Contestants were reportedly limited to 400 calories per meal, which were served every 12 hours, all while sleeping on the ground of an arena with nothing more than a sleeping bag for warmth and comfort. This environment was described as an active hell, while Jimmy watched from above and the staff encouraged bad behavior, whatever was best for the camera. But was it possible this was Amazon's doing and not MrBeast and crew? According to the contestants, no. It was the MrBeast crew who called them back after they wrapped to offer them $1,000 each to keep quiet and sign an NDA. When some refused and rumblings started happening, mentioning a lawsuit, a class action lawsuit, those who initially declined were called back and offered an additional $1,000 and continuing therapy, all provided not by Amazon, but by the MrBeast staff. Even with everything discussed here, MrBeast won't end or fail overnight. But I also don't think that what we have heard and seen so far is the worst or the end of it. More will be exposed, but in the meantime, we have one blank profile, another silent, to tell the tale of the beastly actions within.